Hey folks, this is Travis.
This is Jonathan.
And welcome to the 100 Ways to Love a Cat podcast.
It's the podcast that eventually plays the song 100 Ways to Love a Cat.
Oh, it's coming. You can't be stopped. You cannot stop this. If you don't like this song, let me tell you right now, you're listening to the wrong podcast.
It's snaking its way towards you right now.
It's coming, whether you like it or not.
You better run and hide.
That's right. It's cannot be stopped. It can't be.
It'll find you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you were thinking of hiding, but it's not good enough.
We got 35 minutes coming for you.
Barreling down the highway in your direction.
Any moment now.
We could stop talking and just play the song. You'd be like, what? I thought they talked more.
Nope. If I want to play it right now, I can. We hold that power. This is our podcast, and I'm proud of it.
Well, let's not be.
No, I think it's okay. I think it's okay that we be proud of the service that we provide here. There's nothing wrong with that. I stand up, and if I stand a little harsh, it's because I love this song. I love all songs about cats, but this one in particular. Yes, am I biased? Well, yes, I am. I know I helped create or write, however you want to call it, song with my friend Jonathan here and our other. He's a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. William Sherry Jr. We just don't see him as often. Have you heard from him?
Should we ask him if he wants to do the podcast with us?
He's not gonna do that. He doesn't. He just, he likes to make music and songs, but he doesn't. Yeah.
You know who I don't hear from as much, and who also was a big influence on this song, and who was someone who was in my mind when I was creating, and I guess you could say their tentacles were wrapped around my brain. Just sort of an outsized influence on my life and my art.
Who is that?
And Tony the Tiger?
From the cereal.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I don't see
those
cat. Commercials
He's
anymore.
a big
That's what
cat.
I think of. I know some people say a cat, and you think of, I think of my cat, Fluffy, or whatever.
Well, this song, we should make that clear that this song I thought the whole time we were writing it is definitely telling you how to love a domesticated
Absolutely.
cat. This is in no way, if someone understands this song and gets out there with like a bobcat or something.
No.
You are on your own. That's not what we're about.
Let's make this
We're not
clear.
recommending it. This song is specifically about, and I'll even say an average sized domestic cat.
Not too small.
Because I've seen, not too small or not too, big too. I've seen some domestic cats that are like, good God, I would not have that in my house. And I love cats, so that has to be big.
Well, when they take up all the space in the room, just with their presence, and they just take the breath out of you almost.
I know.
And they're and then the litter box and tracking that all over the place.
Sure.
And then how much
that's going to happen
them.
no matter what. But the bigger the animal, the bigger the box, the more the litter, the more space taken.
It's all a blessing. A cat is a blessing.
Absolutely. Some people would say more of a cat is even more of a better thing. But for me, personally, some of this is just out of concern, safety concerns, too, for an animal that large. Because, a cat can sometimes have an attitude, and that's what cats do, and that's fine. But sometimes, as you and I both know, cats can certainly bite and scratch and hiss.
Well, let's say it. If a cat were the size of a horse, it would eat a human.
Absolutely. Well, they do. They've been known. That's a true. That's not even like speculating that. That has happened in zoos and the jungle of the wild jungle.
Oh, that reminds me. Let me just clear this up about Tony the Tiger. When I hear the word cat, I think of Tony the Tiger. I'm not saying I think a cat is a tiger or a tiger is a cat, or you should go out into the jungle and practice your 100 ways on a jungle cat.
No.
I'm not saying that I look at Tony the Tiger and I think, oh, that's not a tiger, that's a cat. I know what it is. It's just the way the brain works sometimes. Sometimes it's funny the way people have these little fetishes, I guess you could call it, where I hear the word cat and I think of Tony the Tiger.
Right.
I don't think fetish was the word I was looking for.
Well, Tony the Tiger is welcoming. He is a cartoon. Let's first, is an advertisement a cartoon?
Now, do I have this wrong that he was at one point a real tiger owned by the Kellogg's Corporation?
As a mascot or something along the lines of that? I don't know enough history of Kellogg's to know that.
Back in the days of live television, like Jack Parr would be like, let's bring out Tony the Tiger.
Maybe. I can't
see if
remember.
He'll eat this bowl of cereal.
You know, there's a movie, I bet if we watched it, and I haven't seen it in years. They made us watch it in school, The Amazing Mr. Kellogg's. It's the entire story of that. And I remember they made us watch it in school. This is in my middle school years, so this is a while back. So the movie's been around. But The Amazing Mr. Kellogg's, I don't know if I remember. You know what I mean? I can't. It had Tony the Tiger and
how
all
did
those.
He come up with Tony the Tiger? Do you remember
Well,
that?
I don't remember how, but what was so good about this movie is that they would they would talk to him, like they would come, and I know that's not.
And he was a cartoon?
No. They were a cartoon, and he was. I can't remember what actor.
Tony the Tiger would talk to Mr. Kellogg's.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
and he would give him advice, like make them frostier or what, he would.
So this was just a commercial they showed you?
No. This is I think it's a made-for-TV movie, the Amazing Mr. Kellogg's, and just all the cereals that he made and other breakfast.
It sounds like a great movie. I don't remember it.
Well, they made us watch it in school. I don't know. We were not in the same.
No,
I did not know you back then.
I remember watching Mr. Ichabod and Mr. Toad. But
those were good too, but those were all cartoons. Those were from beginning to end, the middle. They were all animated. Amazing Mr. Kellogg's, everything was real except for the characters that would come, like the frog, Diggum, I believe is his name.
Was a real frog?
No. He looked like he does on the cereal box, as does Tony. They come and I can't remember the other characters.
Fred Flintstone?
I don't know if that's Kellogg's because I'm getting confused. See, there was also
Boobery?
General Mills. There was a story about General Mills. No, not in this one. Well, he's kind of a competitor, but he has his own made-for-TV movie that I think came out around then where you have Boo Berry and you have Count Chocula. It was more scary.
Oh, it's like a horror movie. It's like General Mills versus the Boobery and the Count Chocula.
Yes, that's right. There's Boo Berry, Count Chocula, and the pink Frankenstein. Well, let's play the song and get to it. Are you ready, Jonathan? I'm sorry.
Oh, right. I was trying to remember the werewolf.
Ooh, there wasn't there?
Harry Bowles?
I can't remember. We got to get on the YouTube and look up this Amazing Mr. Kellogg's and see if we can also find General Mills.
What's up, YouTube? Okay, I'm going to get my phone out and see if I can. I'm not
see if we can find it. Well, let's don't
These
find it.
walls are stone and so thick that I'm barely getting a reception in here.
Well, let's. It is thick rock.
But how many floors down are we?
I mean, we're down. We're a ways down because we had to take the elevator as far as it would go down, and then we had to walk 2 more flights, and that elevator goes. I mean,
slow and rickety.
Yeah, but it goes you're going a long way when you come in at the ground floor. You're already going a long way, and then we had to walk at least 2 to 3 flights of stairs after the railing, because elevators can only go so low.
I didn't know that. I thought that you could take an elevator all the way down to the center of the earth.
No, you couldn't do that.
If they built it.
That's another movie we saw when we were kids, I think. Elevator to what is the name of that one? All right, let's play 100 Ways to Love a Cat. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 1. Keep a tidy house for them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 2. Be sure to clip their claws. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wave 3. Scoop their box daily. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wave 4. Brush them with a hairbrush. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wave 5. Don't squeeze their paws hard. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wave 6. Give them some fresh water. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wave 7. Let them have a fish. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Wait, 8. Buy them a scratching post. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 9. Put them in your lap. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 10. Be quiet when they're sleeping. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 11. Whisper, I love you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 12. Rub their soft belly. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 13. Make sure their tail is clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 14. Give them a yarn ball. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 15. Make them a nice bed. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 16. Buy him some catnip. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 17. Play them some music. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 18. Get them a cute collar. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 19. Make sure they're vaccinated. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 20. Take their picture. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 21. Brush their teeth. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 22. Let them watch TV. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 23. Don't let them be outside by themselves. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 24. Feed them some cat food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 25. Make sure their eyes are clean. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 26. Put a liner in their box. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 27. Give them a mat to wipe their feet on. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 28. Don't forget them on Christmas. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 29. Make sure they're spayed or neutered. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 30. Hold them like a baby. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 31. Let them have a towel or blanket. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 32. Keep your toilet lid down. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. 100 loving ways. ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 33. Don't let them chew on power cords, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 34. Set them by the window, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 35. Cat-proof your home, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 36. Change their litter weekly, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 37. Praise them lavishly, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 38. Never feed him chicken bones, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 39. Teach them a funny trick, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 40. Give them a toy mouse, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 41. Clean up their hairballs, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 42. Keep them away from candles, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 43. Give him a separate zone, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 44. Never play with them aggressively, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 45. Increase his cuddle time, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 46. Be sure to watch his weight, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Wait, 47. If you leave, turn on the radio, 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat, 100 loving ways. Way 48. Scold him firmly but with kindness. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 49. Respond when he meows. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 50. Give them a thing of cat grass. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 51. Scratch under his chin. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 52. Remind him that you love him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 53. Give them a box to play in. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 54. If they're old, help them get down. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 55. Let them lick you with their rough tongue. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 56. Record precious memories. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 57. Dress them up in ribbons. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 58. Give them a flea treatment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 59. Make a vet appointment. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 60. Give them a little wet food. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 61. When they scratch you, don't get angry. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 62. Give them some private time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 63, treat them with respect. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 64, when he grooms himself, say good job. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 65, let them chase a laser pointer. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 66, clean out their ears. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 67, never smoke around them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 68, buy a sturdy cat carrier. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 69, listen to them purr. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 70, tempted by temptations. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 71, give them your full attention. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 72, don't trap them in the laundry basket. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 73, let them sleep in bed with you. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 74, make sure they're not locked in the closet. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 75, don't let them play in plastic bags. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 76, give them a massage. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 77, touch him as you pass by. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 78. If he's on the couch, don't be mad. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 79. If they hate fans, turn the fan off. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 80. When there's a bird outside, say, hey, look. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 81. Intrigue them with a funny sound. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 82. Don't forget sardine time. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 83. Let him play with your old socks. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 84. Stroke in the direction that his fur goes. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 85. Admire his long whiskers. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 86. Keep his box away from his food. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 87. Pretend that he's a piano. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 88. Don't interrupt them while they're eating. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 89. When they're scared, go and comfort them. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 90. Let him have a lick. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 91. If their breath stinks, give them greenies. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Way 92. Give him a ball with a bell in it. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 93. If it's hot, put ice in their bowl. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 94. Let him drink out of the sink. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 95. Don't vacuum if it scares him. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 96. Draw a picture of him. 100 loving ways. 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 There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 97. If you drop some food, it's theirs now. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 98. Read him a book. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 99. Feed him again. 100 loving ways. There are 100 ways to love a cat. 100 loving ways. Weigh 100. Just love them every day. 100 loving ways. 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 There it is, 100 Ways to Love a Cat. All 100 ways, all 35 minutes of
Each
the song.
way gets better every time you hear it. Each minute progressively improves upon itself until the end when you can hardly contain yourself any longer. It's over, and you're like, wow.
And we should reiterate, something which never occurred to us before, that someone could hear this song and think that these are instructions
They are for normal
regular
cats.
Domesticated cats.
Don't go to the zoo and put your arm through the bars.
No.
Don't go to the woods and look for trouble.
Don't do it.
Don't go to India or Africa and look for lions and tigers.
No. I mean, you can look for them from at a distance if you're going on vacation. And
you can do it.
And
but
you have a guide with you. But don't go out there expecting you or your guide to do any of the things that were portrayed in this song to an animal of that magnitude.
Yeah, and I can't imagine anybody would.
But, you never – it's crazy the way the internet is, the way people get ideas in their head and what happens nowadays. So better safe than sorry, I say. I'm glad that we've addressed this because we never have before. So this is new and it's something that should be addressed. I don't think we have to address this every episode.
No.
But I think that it's good that we just made that clear. So there's no confusion.
Do we need to tell people that bears aren't cats?
Well, hopefully somebody
how
should
far
know
do
that.
we take this?
Because cat is cat is cat. I don't think
a lion is a cat, a tiger is a cat,
yes.
A bear is a cat.
No. Bears are not cats. Panda bears are half, I think, but like regular bears,
not at all.
And a koala is half. I think panda bears and koala are have some sort of cat DNA in it, but it's not a full cat. But yes, tigers, lion, bobcats.
Are they dogs? Are bears dogs?
No. I don't
Are they
think
their
so.
Their own thing?
I think they're if I remember correctly.
It's funny. I see the world a lot of times dog or cat, and I'm wrong most of the time. I go to the grocery store and I pick up a package of ham or corn, and I say, well, is this something a dog would eat? And I go, well, I guess not. I guess a cat would eat it then. But that's not how the world works. It's not black or white like that. It's shades of gray, and I have to remember that. So a bear, I'm like, is that a dog or a cat? Well, it's neither one. It's neither one. It's a gray area. It's neither dog nor cat.
Exactly.
And that's the way the world works. And sometimes they get all high and mighty and like that. Nope, that's a dog. Nope, that's a cat. And it's not.
It's its own area, if not so much gray.
Area, exactly.
Cat has an area, dog has an area, bear has an area that nobody else. You don't want to get in that area, if you know what I'm saying, because a bear, they are not gentle, and there's a lot of because how many people? Speaking of Gentle Ben, the famous sleepy bear that was you could hug on, you could love on. He was always sleeping. He was always purring. You could always love on Gentle Ben. That's a wrong message, I think, to send out there because those animals do not like people. They don't. And I tell you right now, Gentle Ben, the reason he was so sleepy is that they were giving him sedatives of some kind.
Well, that was a long time ago. We wouldn't do that now.
No, thank goodness. Now the bear is a computer. It's an effect. We don't bother real bears to make them act anymore like we used to, or put them to sleep. Now you can do it with a computer. Do you remember The Revenant? The Revenant?
That's the one where Leonardo DiCaprio gets attacked by that dog?
No. That's a bear. All right. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate it. We hope you come back.
I really love these where I get to open up my worldview a little.
Well, that's what we hope everybody does a little bit every day.
You get to hear a great song, and also it challenges your way of thinking, and maybe you come out of it with a more open mind. And I feel like that today. I got to groove out to some of my favorite tunes, and I got to maybe expand my horizons.
That's when we can do that, it's all the better as far as I'm concerned.
Who knows what will happen next week? Come on back and listen, guys.
Please do. Thanks so much.